Woke up to the sunrise, feeling brand new. The world's so wide, and I'm ready to break through. The rose calling my name, it's a wild, sweet sound. Every step I take, I'm just turning it around. I've seen the mountains, the oceans, the skies. Every sunrise paints a new surprise. City so far, I'm chasing the dream of who we are.
I'm now at Qatar Cultural Village. I don't think I realised quite how big this place is. This place is huge and there's a lot to see here, lots of statues. As far as I know, everything is free. There's a fountain here, not a lot going on at the moment, but I believe at night time it all lights up and there's fountain shows here, which are meant to be really impressive. I'm just gonna have a walk around and try and get to the best places around here before I then move on, because I want to be somewhere for sunset. Behind me now is Qatar Mosque, which I think is meant to be one of the, if not the most impressive mosque in Doha. I'm not going to go inside. I don't even know if I'd be allowed inside, but the outside is pretty impressive. The only thing that's slightly annoying here are these little buggy things that are all over the place, driving people around. The amount that have almost hit me, and I don't think it's my fault, I just don't feel like they're looking where they're going, but there's quite a lot of them. Anyway, this is the amphitheatre. It's quite a recent structure. It's not an ancient amphitheatre or anything like that. As far as I know, it's free to get inside, so I'm going to have a look and see if I can see what's inside. There's some sort of construction going on behind me, which is annoying. So I think they must have shows of some sort here. Whether or not there's anything on today, tonight, I don't know. A few people hanging around here. I'll go one way to the top and see what kind of view I can get from up here. There's three statues behind me of heads, which I've definitely seen these before on social media. Whether or not it's some sort of anti-war thing, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks as if they've all been made out of like various different pots and pans and spoons, different bits of metal. Said there was a lot here, definitely worth exploring, and there's lots of little streets and alleyways, I guess you could call them, but there's not a lot here. It's if there's like empty shops, whether or not things are closed because of the time, although it's not that late. It's like 5 o'clock, I think, maybe 5:30, and I think it's going to be more developed. I'm just guessing, I don't know, to be honest, but definitely worth seeing the amphitheatre, the sculptures and the mosque. Behind me now is the Crescent Tower, which I think is one of the most famous buildings here in Doha, in Qatar. I think it's a hotel, it might be a business centre, I'm not sure. I think this is the best viewpoint to see it from. I'm just going to wait for it to get dark so I can see it all lit up, and the sun's just kind of setting. Now, there is a fountain here, but again, the fountain's not working. For some reason, any of the fountains I've visited today, none of them seem to be operational. But maybe when it gets dark, the fountains will come on. It's only my first day in Doha, and I've got most of tomorrow as well to do some exploring, but that will be seeing some other parts of Qatar. I'd say it's better than I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting that much from it. I was expecting it to be very similar to Dubai, which it is to some extent, but it's definitely so much cheaper. 20p for a bottle of water. Taxi journeys are costing less than a fiver to go like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. The metro, only £1 for the travel card. I think the alcohol is going to be expensive, but compared to everything else, yeah. So I was very worried about this trip being expensive, which it will be when I go to the other countries. I know it will be, but thankfully it has not been anywhere near as expensive as I was expecting here in Doha. The fountains are finally on. Sod it. I think I'm going to get wet going through here. But it is quite hot and it's quite cooling. Just started a half-day tour of north of Qatar, north and west of Qatar. So I'm at a fishing port now, where they've got all the, they're called like dough boats all behind me, which I saw some yesterday. They were originally used for pearl diving, but the Japanese have kind of outdone Qatar and there's no pearl diving anymore, so they don't really make money from pearls. So it's mainly used for fishing nowadays. So we've stopped off at a mangrove forest, which is apparently in the sea, but the water's very shallow, so I don't quite understand how it can be in the sea. Lots and lots of fish swimming around. This was only discovered in the 1980s, apparently. This mangrove. People come kayaking here from time to time. And it's also known as the Purple Island. Again, I don't really think it's an island, but it's known as a Purple Island because there was some kind of snail here, where a prehistoric snail, where they were able to get purple dye from the remains of the shells, like in fossils or something like that, and it's known as Purple Island because of the purple dye from those shells. So we've now stopped at Al Jamil, which is the remains of a village. It's quite near to the fort, which is now a museum, which we're going to go to after this. But no one lives here anymore. This is the remains of a mosque. There's a few houses there. I believe this was the marketplace over here. And it was made because this is where a lot of pearl divers would live, and they'd go under the water, collect pearls, and it was a very profitable profession back in the day. It looks like I can actually get inside the mosque. It's a tiny little staircase, but there could be a nice view at the top. It's quite hard to get to the window at the top, but yeah, there is a nice view. Fort. Actually a fort that's open that I can go inside this time. It looks a lot bigger than the one in Doha. So the air holes on the outside are used for the temperature, so obviously as the air blows it cools it down inside. Secrete rock formations, which used to be underwater long time ago, and due to wind, rain, they've got different shapes. So this one I think is called fish rock, and that one I think is mushroom rock, and then this one behind me now is called eye rock, obviously because there's an eye. I think these are the three most standout formations here. I think I can even climb up this one, so I might have a bit of a walk up the top. Behind me is one of 4 sculptures which go for about 1 kilometre long by the American artist Richard Serra, and they're made out of huge steel plates, and they used to measure the rock for some reason. Don't quite understand how that works. I'm now at a camel racing track, so camel racing is quite a popular thing here, and what they do, obviously they're not racing now, I'm not too sure what they're doing with all the camels. I don't know if it's ethical, but instead of having a jockey, they actually have like an electronic device nowadays where it feels like someone's riding it, and they can control the device to make the camel run faster. So that sounds better than having a jockey. Still don't know if it's right to make camels race for sport, but I guess it's not as bad as when I had a jockey on there. I've made it to Doha Airport, where I'm waiting to board my flight for Osaka, Japan. Behind me is Lamp Bear. So out of all the things I wanted to see in Doha, in Qatar, this was at the top of my list. It sounds crazy. It's a big giant bear sculpture thing with a lamp on its head in the airport, but I've been seeing this thing on several people's Instagrams for years, and this is the one thing I really wanted to see out of anything else, so I'm glad I finally got to see it. So overall, Qatar, Doha, I've enjoyed it. It's been good. I don't know if I'd come back. There's a couple of things I wanted to see that I didn't get to see. There's a big shopping centre which has like the gondolas, which work out a hell of a lot cheaper than Vegas. Vegas it's like $50. Here it's like £1 to just go on a gondola through a shopping centre. Pretty much the same as what you get in, is it Venetian? I think it's Venetian in Vegas. I did want to go there, but because I got back so late from my tour today, I just didn't have the time to do it. I also wanted to go to Pearl Island, see a couple of bits there. But overall, I've seen most of the things I wanted to see in Qatar. I don't think I'm going to come back, but never say never. And if I need to stop over somewhere and I've got to pick between here and Dubai, although there are a couple of things I still want to do in Dubai actually, I'm probably more likely to pick here because it's just cheaper, and I don't know, I think it's more, there's more culture here. It just seems like a better place to come back to, but never say never. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.